All right, so talk to me. What happened last night? Why are you feeling like you want to murder somebody today?
I think I don't know. It's two very different questions. What happened to me last night? Well, what really happened is I woke up and I was in a bit of a distress because I woke up and I was very sweaty and I was profusely sweating and I was very hot no matter what I took off, whether it be blankets, clothing, everything. I could turn on my fan. I was sweating profusely, and I assumed that either one of two things. Either one, I had a fever and I had caught the coronavirus somewhere.
Hope Trump and his lady get better soon.
All right. Anyways,
I
so
know some of you are gonna disagree with that, but we're still gotta be human beings and civil about this. Anyway, go on.
as I was trying to figure out why it was that I was sweating so profusely, I went and I woke up my mom, who then took my temperature, and I found out that I was not running a fever. I was actually cold, if anything. So, so yeah, I didn't have a fever. So I'm questioning what it is that's going on. So I texted you, and you came to the conclusion that I might have had my body might have went into some sort of state of panic while I was sleeping. I was not conscious. I didn't know that that could happen. I didn't think it could. I don't understand how it happened. I didn't have any nightmares. I didn't have any bad dreams. I didn't have any sense of anxiety when I woke up. I was just very hot and very shaky. So I didn't know that that could happen. I don't know what the psychology behind that is. This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
Yeah, so I'm looking something up real quick because you're taking melatonin because you're having some difficulty falling asleep, and
Well, I don't have I don't have difficulty falling asleep. I have difficulty staying asleep.
okay. And before I go back to my conclusion, I want to make sure that it is safe to take melatonin supplements every night, but only for the short term. It's something to keep in mind.
I think it's been pretty short term, if you ask me.
All right. And then it seems like the side effects.
I know it can cause nightmares.
Oh God, I'm going into WebMD, so the side effect is definitely going to be cancer.
Cancer, yeah. But I know that melatonin can increase the vividness of your dreams and can actually cause nightmares and sleep paralysis. But I did not have sleep paralysis. I did not have nightmares. I just woke up and I was sweating. Honestly, some might argue, Owella, that I didn't even have a panic. I was just hot. It was just hot in my room. But I thought of that too while I was in the situation. I went and checked the temperature in the house. It was like 72 something degrees. Very nice temperature in the house. It was not hot.
Well, according to our grandparents, well, your grandparents and my parents, losing a finger in a carpentry accident is due to you being just
Addicted to your phone.
right. Or, you're thinking too hard. Stop thinking so much. I just sawed my finger off. I know.
I think Abuelo's got good logic on anxiety.
Abuelo, it's like, oh, you're gonna bleed to death. It was nice knowing you.
I think over the years, Owello has gradually wrapped his head a little bit better around anxiety because I think he has a lot of anxiety. I think it's the
Oh yeah,
Trino
for
curse.
sure.
I think it's the Trino curse, and I think he's wrapping his head around anxiety a
And
lot better.
I took him to the doctor because there was a time where he was actually like having a really tough time. And I was like, yo, we got to go to the doctor and we got to tell the doctor how you're feeling, right? And then he goes to the doctor and he is diagnosing himself while he's telling the doctor what it is.
Why? What do you
Hi,
say?
doctor. I'm feeling really irritated and nervous. I'm just down sometimes, and I think it's due to, some supplements that I take, and I think that I was just going through a bad time, and blah 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 blah. And the doc's like, why are you here?
Yeah.
You already seem to
You're
know
already aware.
what you want, what's wrong with you. So anyway, I'm looking here at the melatonin side effects, and it seems like the most common side effects.
Is vivid dreams.
It's let's see.
I mean, I barely. I mean, I
Okay,
barely look into it.
definitely cancer.
Oh, nice. Is it actually?
Um,
Is it actually cause cancer? Or are you just saying that to freak me out? 'Cause
So
I'm like,
headache, dizziness,
deathly afraid
nausea,
of
and
cancer.
drowsiness.
well, I've never gotten nausea, and I'm always nauseated.
Okay. Other less common melatonin side effects, which will go into what you were just talking about before we started the podcast, might include short-lasting feelings of depression, mild tremor, mild anxiety, abdominal cramps, irritability.
Irritability.
Yep. Reduced alertness, confusion or disorientation, and abnormally low blood pressure.
Well, I don't know anything about my blood pressure.
You were just saying you were irritable as heck
Uh,
on the way here, so that might have something to do with it.
I don't know, man. Seems pretty
But
sus
yeah,
to
man,
me.
like, by the way, you like my Snuggie?
I like it. I told you I felt pretty what was the word? Excluded,
Yeah.
because I don't have a Snuggie on right now.
So, like, things like this, they usually, like, advertise at night on the infomercials. And it's like a
The Snuggie?
compulsive. Yeah. Like, that's how they started, right?
Mm.
Because the guy was like, oh my God, we can just get a blanket and put sleeves on them. People will go crazy for him. And he was right. But usually,
I
like
rock my Snuggie every night.
the infomercials, like they play them like at 2 o'clock in the morning, and there's some depressed dude, looking at them, and they're like, "This product is gonna make your life 10 times better," and then they get like really
The
happy
first
people
shot is
to
in
it.
like black and white, and there's a bit of red X over it.
Exactly.
And then the next shot's all colorful.
Yeah, and you have a knife to your throat, like.
yeah. Are
Do
you
you-
sick?
Do you sometimes feel like stabbing yourself?
Yeah.
It's life making you want to die. And the lady's like, "Eh."
Yeah. Infomercials are all the same.
So anyway, it's a compulsive buy, right? You're looking at it and you're like, oh, that might help me with my, extreme depressive disorder. And then you buy it, and then you use it once, right? Because it was a compulsive buy at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Facts.
And you never use it again. And then 10 years later, you're moving and you're like, oh my God, look, I I bought that Snuggie. I only used it once. That was not the case with me.
You bought your Snuggie and you love your Snuggie?
I saw the infomercial like 5 years before. Never saw it again. And I always wanted one. And then I was out at work just having a good day. And I was like, you know what I should get?
A Snuggie?
I should get a Snuggie.
It's good brand. It's branding. Because
Yeah.
then you like it was in your mind.
Yeah, this is not even like the Snuggie brand. It's
like
some
off-
generic brand because anybody can take a piece of carpet and put sleeves on it. You know what I'm saying? And oh no, actually it is. Look, Snuggie.
I was about to say I'm gonna have to fact check you on that, bro.
And I'm very happy with it. I use it
Sponsored
as
by
often
Snuggie,
as I
guys.
can. This podcast is sponsored by
Sponsored by
Snuggie,
Snuggie.
making a comeback into the depression and anxiety field. So if you feel like stabbing yourself, Snuggie.
You know, some people say that they would rather be crying in a Bentley. I say I'd rather be cutting myself in a Snuggie. Honestly, I mean, let's be real.
I mean, if you're
Let's be
Sure.
real. If you're being sad and you're not in a Snuggie, you're not even trying. You're not trying. That's just
plus
facts.
the sleeves are kind of difficult to roll up. They keep rolling back down.
So it's like
So
it's
if-
almost like it's trying to prevent.
Yeah, if you want to cut
All right.
yourself,
Confirmed.
it's like
Snuggie is suicide prevention. That's what they're really trying to do. Honestly, I mean that's a good cause, man. That's a really good
Yeah.
cause.
And by the way, guys, before you start thinking, we're joking.
I'm not joking. I don't know about you.
Oh.
I'm not joking at all.
I
I'm not
have
joking
I
at all.
have had suicidal thoughts before, so we're joking. Don't take this seriously, because some people just take everything. We're joking.
Listen, it's.
Obviously, Snuggies don't prevent suicide. Actually,
I mean, listen, people with like really bad anxiety disorder, and this is a fact. Some doctors, not like yeah, doctors, like the psychiatrists,
hmm
they will like prescribe them. I guess I don't know if that's the right term to use. They'll make them go get a dog, cause
oh yeah.
dogs are
I
like a
just made
natural.
I just made a video about my cat literally being there for me when I was at the worst moments of my life.
I don't know, dude. I need to know what the actual psychology behind that is. I know more about the universe than I know about the human brain, but dude, I need to know what that science is because it's insane. How can somebody with an anxiety disorder be not cured but helped tremendously
You
by
know that
getting a
dogs
dog?
also sniff cancer, right?
Sniff cancer?
Yeah. They have dogs that are trained to like sniff you, and if you have cancer, they'll know.
But you have to have a trained dog though.
Yeah, I don't think all of them can. I'm not really sure how that works, but I don't think all of them can do it.
I think a human can be trained to sniff cancer. I think that's just called like a doctor though. Or
Dog, if you go to the doctor and some dude's like, come here, let me see your neck. Excuse me?
yeah.
This
You're
is
stage 3.
this is completely technical, and I'm trying to
I thought that was normal.
I'm trying to help you prevent testicular cancer. You're like, no, stop.
Yep. You're good.
These balls are fresh.
Part of this room.
No cancer here. Completely healthy.
Dang it, man. I'm not supposed to be laughing right now, man. We were just talking about suicide a couple seconds ago.
Anywho, yeah, I definitely think that what you had last night was an anxiety attack, man. When I used to like have really bad anxiety, and for whatever reason, it comes to you at night. Like, I guess because your brain is not focused on anything else.
I had an epiphany. It wasn't last night. I think it was the night before. Because I'm gonna be so real with you, man. And when I say this, I don't want to sound like those, like girls, who are typically my age, who are like, I have OCD, I have ADHD, I have depression, I have panic attacks. And in reality, they're just seeking attention. We all know those people. I mean, come on now. I don't want to sound like that. But I'm gonna be so real with you, bro. I don't remember, like, around 10 p.m., 11 p.m. every single night, without failure, I feel so sad. And I don't know why. Until the other night, I had, like, this epiphany, kind of. I realized that throughout my day, and the way I pictured it in my head, you're really going to town on that coffee, man. There's nothing left in there. You should just
Bro,
give up
this
on it.
is a mocha cookie crumble frappuccino.
Oh, they're the best.
If I had to choose between sex and this,
Yeah, all the way.
no, I would choose sex, but it would take me at least 2 minutes
To decide on it.
to really decide.
No, I think I'd choose that, honestly. I mean, it's pretty fire.
That's because, as far as I know, you've never really had sex.
I don't really
but-
have anything to compare it to, so why would I don't know. Anyways, so here's what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I had this epiphany the other night. So the way I pictured it, right? I pictured it as like, as I go throughout my day, dog, I have like these moments, and in my head I picture it as like this like point in time, right? And I have this moment. And as the night starts to like come to a conclusion, my brain kind of like puts all those points together, and it creates this bigger image. And that bigger image always tells me that I'm severely depressed, that my day was terrible, and that when everything is connected, when you just zoom out on my entire day and I realize everything that I accomplished today, I'm like, I'm extremely sad. I'm extremely sad. And like I said, I'm not looking to get pity from anybody. What I'm saying is that, like, at night, and I don't know why, around 10 p.m., it's just all my day, I can see it from this bigger perspective, this wider angle. It's like I have like this out-of-body experience where I see myself going through this day, and I'm like, wow, I feel so bad for that guy. And then I'm like, no, that guy is me. I had a terrible day, and I'm so sad.
I think you're right that our family has a inherent genetic predisposition for depression. I know Abuelo has it for sure. I've definitely had it since I was 8 years old. And yeah, nighttime is really bad. And you don't have to have a reason to feel depressed. I think that we definitely have some kind of, what do they call it, a lack of serotonin, a slight you know, low count of serotonin maybe. You know, and Abuelo's brothers, I mean, he's had brothers that have literally actually tried to commit suicide and have actually been in like psychiatric hospitals for a long time and things of that nature because um, it's just the way we seem to be wired, man. You know, the good thing is at least you know, like like, oh, this is happening to me and I got to do something about this, or this is what it is. You know, because I went 20, like I said this morning, I went 20 years without just thinking that I was broken.
I am
You know.
so grateful every single day, dude, that I have not the things, but the knowledge that I
Mhm.
have, because I see like you, for example, because I mean you're the only example that I have of somebody who like severely went through a really bad stage and was uneducated about it.
Oh yeah.
And so I see that you could have none of the knowledge that I have and make it through that. Make it through those hard times knowing nothing about it. And I see myself, I compare that to my situation where even though I'm going through those tough situations, I have the knowledge about it. And I'm so grateful for that. Every single day I wake up, I'm like, I am so grateful that I know what it is I know. Cuz if I didn't, I don't know, like I don't know where I would be right now, man. So that's all I have to say on
Yeah.
that, man.
So I definitely think you had a mild panic attack last night. I think that, you know, I'm dude, there's people that have panic attacks and they're just going to work. Like normally they're just thinking about what they have to pick up before they get home in the afternoon, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh crap, I'm having a heart attack."
Yeah.
And they drive themselves to the hospital because they're like, "I can't breathe. I'm having a heart attack. I don't know what's wrong with me." And they make all sorts of tests on them. And they're like, "Yeah, it's you're just having anxiety." They're like, "I don't feel anxious."
They were telling me a story earlier. I don't know I don't know if I should say it, but they were telling me a story earlier, and it's like I didn't even know that this happened, but when you have somebody going through that, and like it's scary to be in that situation. To be in the situation where you're the one having a panic attack is one
Mhm.
thing. To be in a situation where you're trying to calm somebody having a panic attack down, I I could never, dude. I like
Well, and then you always have the uncertainty. You're like, "What if they are really having a heart attack?
right.
What if they are really sick and they're sweating off like some crazy junk and you know I'm telling them, "Oh, you're fine. You're just nervous," and then they die. You know,
Then who's the
it's
blame really
scary.
on? Or who you're going to have to live with that for the rest of your life.
I mean, don't get me wrong, dude. You should know better. Excuse me. Than just to take people at their word, right? Like if somebody goes, "Hey man, I think you're just having a panic attack," you might want to fact check that because most likely that's not a doctor and they're just going on their own
Yeah.
experiences. And by that I'm saying that you probably shouldn't have believed me when I told you at 2 o'clock in the morning that you were having a panic attack. I'm just saying. Always fact check, even me, dog.
I fact checked. Don't worry. Listen, last night I stayed up until 5 o'clock in the morning, going on Google, symptoms of nighttime panic attack, and everything that came up.
Don't do that, dude.
Why? Why?
Bro,
You just
because
said fact check you. How else am I supposed to
you
fact check you? Go get a PhD overnight?
yes.
All right. Well, bullcrap. I looked it up on Google. All right.
Bro, I thought I had liver cancer for 3 years because of Google. Bro, and it was like every single symptom. I was like, I'm definitely dying. Because, you know, I used to have a drinking problem. So I'm like, I messed myself up. I know for a fact that I'm dying. And I would go on these forums and like everybody was the same. Like, I drank for 10 years and now I know my liver is shot because my pinky hurts. And everybody's like, yep, dude, I'm sorry. This happened to you. You're dead, bro. And I was like, oh my God. And then, you know, the anxiety builds up even more anxiety. And you're looking all this stuff up and you're like, definitely, you know, definitely. Bro, I became convinced. So I went to the emergency room 1 week, 6 times,
6 times.
6 times, because I thought I was bleeding internally. This is not a joke, bro. I thought, okay, so I had recently gotten divorced. I was going through extreme severe withdrawals from, you know, my addictions. I
Melatonin addiction,
like
obviously.
my melatonin primarily. I, you know, I had no job. I had nothing. Like my life was in shambles, right? And all of a sudden, I'm like, yep, everything's connected. I'm dying. So I would go to the emergency room and I would tell the doctors I'm bleeding internally because I have liver cancer. And they will be like, "Oh, we gotta get you in right away." And then they will do all sorts of tests on me,
And you'll be fine.
and they're like, "Dude," like they will give me a like an anxiety pill and send me home, and I will be like, "They're wrong." No,
But
that doctor doesn't
bro,
know what and then I will go back the next day and get a different doctor, and they're looking at the chart like, "Didn't Doctor Smith check you out last night?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't think he did a good job." They did a freaking scan, or they did what is it, an MRI on you.
what else do you
What
want,
are you
man?
talking about? I think the machine's defective. I think we need to do it again.
Bro,
I did the first time I went, they did a CT scan, and that thing like exudes a lot of radiation. You can't like
being
take
too much.
too many CT scans
Too
because
much.
they can literally give you cancer. So I went back the next day. I was like, I definitely need another CT scan. And the nurse was like,
Another one?
we cannot give you you're fine. Like there's nothing physically wrong with you. I was like, yeah, but how do you know? I'm like, we did the scan yesterday. I'm like, I know it's been 24 hours. What if the cancer just got worse overnight? That's what anxiety does to you, man. It becomes illogical. You know, it makes things, you're so convinced that the worst is happening that even when you have proof that it isn't, you're still convinced of it. That was 6 years ago, and I was counting my days. I was like, I probably have a month to live.
Jesus, man.
And I was living
Listen.
my life as if this is my last month on this planet.
I've been anxious, but I've not gotten that low, man. That's
Bro,
messed
listen,
up. That's messed up.
listen. The last time I went to the emergency room and they sent me back home, I wrote a note and I put it on the fridge, and I was like, I love you guys. Because I was convinced I was dying that day. And I went to bed, I laid down in bed, and I closed my eyes, and I was like, this is what death feels like. This is what I am going to experience death. And then 20 minutes later, I woke up, and I was like, why am I not dead yet? And then the survival instinct kicks in. I'm like, no, I got to do something. Back to the emergency room, different hospital. Crazy,
The thing about
dude.
me, though, dude, is that when I have symptoms of whatever, I look it up. I look it up on Google, and like every like bad disease, I actually never have the symptoms for it. Like, for example, I was throwing up, and I ate something really spicy. So I looked up the symptoms of like acid reflux, because that's what happens to people. You eat something really spicy, you get acid reflux, and you throw up. I had none of the symptoms of anything.
Well,
Like none
if
of
you
them.
would have looked up the symptoms of esophageal cancer, you would have probably been convinced that you had.
Anxiety. Anxiety is a lot to handle. You know what
It's one of the worst things in the world, dude.
you know
Because the worst becomes real. It doesn't matter if it's not really real, it's real to you and it feels real. So it's real to you at that moment.
like when I play with my Legos every day and everybody's telling me that they're just, little guys, and I'm like, "No, this is my world, man. This is my universe, all right? It's very real to me. Don't you ever tell me otherwise. I swear to God."
Speaking of Legos, and I know you have all the Avengers Legos and stuff like that.
Is there
Last week when we did the first podcast, we talked about doing a marathon.
Yep.
On all the Avengers movies because you watch them with your grandfather, not me, when he doesn't even understand what the heck is happening.
It doesn't matter, man. I'm still watching all the movies, dog. I'm having a good old time.
So I had an idea. I want to run it by you.
Let's hear it. I thought you were gonna pull out the entire saga in a big old box like this, and I'm
No, I
like,
have all the Legos
woohoo!
here. I have all the Legos.
You have all the Legos.
I'm gonna just put them in a row there.
Nice.
I was thinking about doing a marathon this weekend and live streaming all of it on TikTok of us watching the Avengers. How long can you live stream on TikTok?
I think I think 42 hours. Maybe.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. Because I mean, I've seen people on TikTok playing video games, and you don't. You just see them.
Yeah. Probably got a bunch of copyright issues though.
We won't be showing the movie.
Yeah, but I mean the soundtrack is playing all that. I don't know. Sounds like a pretty good idea.
We're doing it. If we get it taken off, it is what it is.
All right, man. Whatever you say.
You don't think it's a good idea? I think it will bring
I think
some popularity to our show that 10 people watch.
if we're gonna do
And
that,
that's mom, dad, grandma, girlfriend, mom.
I think if we're gonna do that though, I don't think we should do it with the Avengers movies. I think we should do it with something that's actually related to like the kind of audience that we want to attract to our channel. If we're live streaming the Avengers movies, we're gonna
So
get
what
bunch of
what do
Avengers
hot girls like?
I stink.
You stink?
I stink. I actually do. Anyways, I say like in my case, if I was gonna do something like that, I would watch like Interstellar or something and live stream it.
No, dog. We are.
Because that's the kind of
I
people-
already told you. We're watching District 9.
Okay, let's watch Dick Dis- Let's watch. Let's let's watch Dick Struck 9. Oh, you gotta cut that out. Cut it out. Director's cut. All right. Anyways, yeah, let's do it.
You know what the genius of that movie is, dog? That movie makes you realize the tribalism and the division that there is between humans themselves and the racism, but it puts all those very real issues in a setting with aliens instead of other race. And then at the end of the movie, it's like you're watching it and you're like, oh no, this is really happening, but just not with dudes like look like crickets. Not yet, anyway. I love that movie. They're actually coming out. I think with coronavirus. Oh crap! Did I say the C word?
Canceled.
Oh Lord.
Canceled. Jay Trino's canceled. Politically incorrect. Canceled.
Anyway, I think they were coming with District 10. And you'll see at the ending of the movie, it makes you expect that there's gonna be a sequel.
Awesome.
And the movie's like, I don't know, 5-6 years old. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
That's the best, dude.
everybody's like, where's the second part? Where's the second part? And finally, Neil Bootcamp, which is the director.
Neil Bootcamp.
Hold on.
I'm on a roll today, man.
He finally announced it. But I think that
You know the sequel that we really need, but it's never gonna happen? Joker 2. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
bro, they're making it.
No, they're not.
Bro,
No, they're not. Stop
bro,
rapping.
I just saw the news.
You're
Listen
lying
to
me.
this.
You're lying to me right now, man.
Look, I'm gonna look it up for you. Hold on.
They literally said it. Literally in the script says that this is a solo movie and no sequels.
That movie made so much money that you don't think they're gonna come back out with it. Here, I'll
It's not a sequel type movie though. I want a sequel because I want to see where we're gonna take a Batman.
look.
But I mean, hey, stop the cat. Stop the cat.
Joker sequel in the works. Todd Phillips to return. Variety reports that Warner Brothers is not exploring gritty origin stories for any other DC characters, according to Variety. Insider shot.
What are you reading that on though? Is that like
Revealing.
valid? I mean, really though?
And the most unsurprising news of the week: a Joker sequel is officially in the works at Warner Brothers.
Nah, I don't know about
The financial windfall of Joker cannot be overstated. The R-rated film has now grossed over $1 billion, making it the biggest grossing R-rated film in history.
Really?
Blah, blah, blah.
Deserves it. It's a good movie. I'm a huge Joker fan. Joker's probably one of my favorite comic book characters in existence. Second to Spider-Man, obviously.
No, and Joaquin Phoenix, like, definitely put his... Hello, Anna. Definitely put his amazing acting skills to work on that one.
I think if you ask
That's
me,
the kind of movie, dog, that, to me, it's so great, but so gritty and
hard
hard.
to watch.
You can only watch it once. And you're like, it's enough.
It's hard because it's so relatable, dude. Well, it's not like relatable
Like
in the
you've
sense where
murdered
you're
a whole
like,
bunch of
yeah,
people.
it's not relatable in the sense that, but you can like they do such a good job of making you feel like what that main character would feel like, dude. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Joaquin Phoenix in that movie. I feel like deep down, like Joaquin wasn't like acting too much. I feel like deep down there's that weird twisted guy inside Joaquin Phoenix. He's a weird dude.
Yeah.
He's socially awkward, and I feel like Joaquin's perfect for that role because I feel like deep down buried inside, like you have that twisted mind.
Well, I think we all do, and the what makes good actors is the fact that they can tap into that part of themselves and bring it out. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, acting is not pretending to be somebody. Acting is creating somebody and creating somebody within yourself and bringing that person out. It's not pretending to be anybody. That's the big mistake that bad actors make. You're creating a person. You're creating somebody.
and you can totally tell as a viewer, because we're all human, right? Like one of the biggest traits that we have is that we're able to decipher, a lot of us anyway, human behavior. Like if somebody's lying to you, you can tell if they're not a good liar. If somebody's not being themselves, it's always awkward in some kind of weird way, where you're like, I don't know what's wrong with that guy, but he's smiling too much. Only that guy's really happy,
There's
whatever it
something
may be.
slightly off that's
Yeah.
unsettling. I know what you mean, man.
And when you see a bad actor, that's exactly how it feels. It feels like, oh, this guy, I'm not buying it.
It brings you out of the movie
I'm not
as well.
buying it. But then it's like when you see a good actor like Daniel Day-Lewis in Lincoln.
Never seen it.
Excuse me?
We watched it together, bro.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That movie to me is like, I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis it's one of my favorite actors. That guy is just magical to watch, because he literally he's one of the biggest method actors.
He's
He's not a meth actor. He's a method actor.
He's a
man.
meth actor. Oh my god. He does meth before he goes on set. It really enhances the performance, man. Really seals the deal for me, man. Oh my god. What did you put in this tea, man? You put something bad in there. You put some meth in my tea.
I put meth in there.
Nice.
But yeah, he literally becomes, like when he was doing Lincoln, he literally went into a cabin by himself and became
Did some
Lincoln.
meth.
Like did some meth and completely believed that he was Lincoln back in, the 1800s or whatever. I'm sure I got that wrong. Let me fact check myself.
You never took like not AP. You never took like U.S. history in school as a kid?
I did, man, but I
No.
have, like, I showed you my book on American history.
Because, dude,
I gotta.
you are so, and this is not a bad thing. You are so like into history. I find it so fascinating because I've never been like that. I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's cool to learn about history, but you love American history, especially like when it comes to Abraham Lincoln and the all that stuff. And in Hamilton, you love Hamilton, dude.
Oh man.
I'm telling you, you love American history, and that's such a cool thing, man.
Like, I bought the Hamilton book, the book that the show was based on.
Yeah.
It's right there. Look, pull it out real quick. It's that big one, the yellow one there in the middle.
The yellow one in the middle.
You see where it says breath on the
this
top?
one?
Yep. That's the book that Miranda read. And he said by the second chapter, he was like, oh, this has to be a
This is
musical.
a ginormous book, bro.
Yeah. And I want to read it, but it's like my fear is that as I'm reading it, in the back of my head, I'm going to be like, and I'm not going to
Alexander
take
Hamilton,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I never graduated high school, believe it or not. And
Canceled. Jay Trino canceled.
Yeah.
Didn't go to school. Canceled.
yeah, it's like when you have severe depression and anxiety, it's hard to go to school.
Well, I have depression and anxiety, and I go to school just fine, mister.
Yeah, get over it.
Canceled.
It's like if you it's like if you can't go to school, when you're anxious, it's like you can't do anything. Like, how are you gonna get your degree? Like,
How are you gonna get a job? Do you have a job?
how are you gonna
Do you have a job? Do you have a paying job?
um sort of.
Do you get paid like, every Friday you get paid? Do you have a boss?
I
You work
do.
for a
I
company.
think so.
You make enough money to, get food every, week.
I have a little more. This stuff is expensive.
No, I bet. You don't just have money to get food. You have money to make a podcast. It's not
That
cheap.
nobody watches, by the way.
But
so
why do you do
there's
it though? You
no-
do it because you enjoy it, right?
Because I love it.
Exactly. It's all it's for.
Yeah, because I love it.
Even if one
Um,
person sits here and stomachs, listening to you talk about whatever for an hour and a half,
My
that's worth
mom.
it to me, man.
Yeah.
Even if it is your mom,
Yeah.
man, that's worth it.
I'm also
totally
writing my
worth it.
second book. Oh, by the way, dude. Anyway, if you guys haven't seen the musical Hamilton, it's on Disney Plus right now.
We have started 6 conversations and never finished them.
I warn you that you will get the song stuck in your head for the rest of your life. But it's not a bad thing. Bro, literally, I wake up in the morning
It's Hamilton.
and it's Hamilton, bro.
Hamilton is my shower songs. All right, I don't ever think about Hamilton until I get in the shower. As soon as that water hits my body, I start singing "You'll Be Back." I'm dead serious, bro. It's like I don't know what it is. As soon as the freaking water hits my back, I'm just automatically "You'll be back." It's stuck in my head. It's like a
No.
psychological thing.
It's what that musical is absolute genius, and I've never had the privilege of seeing it live. And because when the theaters were actually still playing and stuff, and it was first of all it was sold out for like the next 28 years, and it was extremely expensive. So when we went to New York City, we ended up watching
Phantom of the
Phantom
Opera,
of the
baby.
Opera.
Best
Why did I
freaking
think about the
musical.
Beauty and the Beast for some reason?
I don't
I'm
know,
not
but
sure.
Phantom of the Opera, dude, nothing
Another
beats
amazing
that.
show. Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing, not anything. There is nothing, no musical in the world, no opera in the world that I've ever seen besides Phantom. But that's better than Phantom of the Opera. Oh, best musical I've ever seen, man.
But I made myself the promise. I was like, as soon as the theaters open and Hamilton begins playing again, I am going. I don't care if I have to stab somebody for tickets. I don't care if I have to go into massive debt to go. I don't care if I have to pick up a second job so I can afford to go to this play. I'm going. And I'm going to cry throughout it because it's like
So
watching your
beautiful.
dreams come true. Because in my dreams, I'm singing Hamilton.
In my dreams, I don't actually know what happens in my dreams. I had a dream the other night where my hair was like short and curly, and then I wet it with some like water, and it like got really straight and long, like down to my butt, like a girl's hair.
Wow. There's
That's
a guy
what I
in my
dream
job
about.
that actually has that. But
Really? But my hair like grew when I wet it, but it didn't grow; it just kind of like fell down, and it was like whoosh, and it was like this girl hair, and I'm like,
Huh.
oh my god, I gotta cut my hair. That was
Bro.
kinda, it's kind of weird. I have weird dreams, man. Do you think
right
that
here,
means
right
something?
here, though. Oh no, I can't play this
What? Why?
because we'll get taken off of YouTube.
What is it?
I was gonna play a Hamilton song, it's copyrighted.
Oh,
Yeah.
curse you, Lin.
So speaking of songs, dude, I was gonna tell you.
Dude, that infamous space guy that I keep seeing on TikTok. Oh my god, slaps. Am I
Listen,
right?
you know I'm always honest with you, right? Like when you started your TikTok, you were doing this like creepy, weird. I know that young people are into that now, but I told you, I literally told you, I was like, yo,
What was creepy and weird on my TikTok, bro? I was just being Gen Z.
you know, Gen Z is kind of creepy. Sorry, guys. I mean,
No,
that's just the way
I'm
it
literally
is.
like, I'm so curious. Like, when
It-
did
it
you see a
was just-
video of
Bro,
mine?
I know your potential and I knew your talent,
And you're
stuff.
like, that is the creepiest
And
TikTok
I was
I've ever
like,
seen.
yo, and you remember that I told you, I was like, yo, I'm not digging your TikTok, man. Like, I think you can do a lot better. And you've been coming out lately with these songs and these videos on TikTok.
Straight up slappers.
Fire, bro.
You know what I'm talking about?
So what I'm gonna do is that as soon as I say now, you guys are gonna watch a clip
Okay.
of my favorite song you've done lately.
Which one's that?
I don't know the name of it. It slaps. That's all I know.
So where I go like really fast, 300 miles a minute.
Yeah, that one. And the one that sounds like Logic, man, that thing was so hard.
You know, I almost took that one down.
I'm gonna watch it now.
You always been searching for truth. I hate to break you the news, but you've been second assist. And man, there's not much you can do. Yeah, I'm aware that you love. Yeah, I'm aware that you scream. Yeah, I'm aware that it's tough. Just be aware it's a dream. Yo, I'm so sick of that banjo beat. And you crazy if you say you can't agree. Cause I don't even care if you're a fan of me. But now I'm about to be the man to beat. 300 miles a minute, I've been trying to make it and I'm on the brink. When you're in the club, my music be playing so hot and so loud that you can't even think. I got so much game, these rappers be hitting my DMs, so they like, are you trying to link? And even the L's that I take, man, you know I bounce back. There's a reason they call me the spring, yeah.
Alright, and we're back.
Wow. I did it so fast. Didn't even happen for us. That was crazy. Can you believe how fast that was? Dude, those videos, man, they are so freaking fun to make throughout the entire process. They are so fun to make. I love making them. I'm not just saying that so that the people watching them feel better. I'm genuinely saying that, like, from the beginning of me, here's my process. Here's how I get the creativity, and this can actually help anybody who's like searching for creativeness if they have like writer's block or something. What I do, dude, is as soon as I finish school, I know I'm gonna have homework later. I don't care. I'll do my homework after. Once I'm done with all my classes and I've done all the work that I need to, I go on a walk. And I go outside and I go on a walk, and for some reason, when I'm outside getting hit by rays of sunlight, walking around my block,
Getting that D.
getting all the D in the world, and I'm walking around the block, for some reason, I don't write lyrics. The lyrics just write me. And that's really how
deep.
I get those lyrics, man. Some of them are really bad. Some of them are really good. So I literally, as
And
soon
your
as I
beats
step
are just
outside,
good, man. It's good. I'm sure you guys already, we just played some. This is quality like this. It's not because it's him that he's my son. This is good music. Like I know that you gotta get a job because you're gonna start driving in a little bit. You have to make money to
Gotta
pay
get
for the
gas money,
$3,000 insurance that you're gonna pay.
300,000 insurance. I thought
and
it's your car, man.
yeah, and you have to be insured to drive it.
So I have to pay for my own
Oh yeah.
male teenage boy
Oh, yeah.
insurance. I'm not gonna have money to
I
buy
made
water.
I make money, but I don't make that kind of pay a teenager's
Oh,
insurance
speaking
money.
of which, this is not even like related to the podcast. I have to get braces soon, and you got to pay my mom for them, because if you don't, you're gonna get in trouble.
Did somebody like ask me to chip in, or is it just gonna be like, hey, by the way, you owe $3,000?
No, I'm just asking you to chip in. I think she's gonna ask you not to pay it all, but to like chip
Where
in
does my child support go to?
to anything that I need. But
I buy the stuff you need.
what?
The mic, the computer, the
These are nice, but when I say need, I'm talking like groceries and like food and stuff like that. Like need stuff.
Huh.
Like
Alright.
need for survival. Well, all I'm saying is that I don't want.
Well,
there
I
to be
guess I'm not watching Hamilton after all.
Dude, all I want to say is, first of all, I'm not even getting like braces, like metal braces. I'm getting the Invisalign, which are way cheaper. Second of all, I'm just saying, like, if she asks you to like chip in a little bit, don't like turn it down, because I don't want there to be an altercation there.
I should have gotten that vasectomy when I thought I needed it.
All right, I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that. Anyways, what was I talking about? I don't care if you can cut that out. I just wanted to mention that while it was on my mind. Anyways, so
what
yeah,
I was gonna
enhanced
say
creativity.
was,
Go ahead.
Since nobody watches this anyway, we might as well ask, because I see people like begging for money online, like, hey, please help, my dog is really cute and he needs money for Netflix. And like people just throw money because people are begging for money. So hey, this is a really talented kid. He wants to have a music career. He needs time to create quality content. My PayPal is j@theflawedOnes.com. If you want to throw a
None
couple
of
of
that
bucks
is
at him
going
so
to
he
me.
can.
None of it.
if if you want to throw that so he can get his braces and work on his music and be able to pay his insurance without having to have
Listen, I'm
you
just
know, a
the
9
only
to
reason I say that
5.
is because I don't want there to be any problems. So I'm just throwing it out there. Anyways. Oh man, what was?
Jay@theflawedones.com. We appreciate your support.
All I'm saying is yeah. As far as the music and the videos go, dude, and this I think you can speak. I think I'm speaking for a lot of people here. It's literally like at the end of the day when you post that video on TikTok or on YouTube or whatever, you don't care in that moment how many views it gets, how many likes it gets. You are so genuinely happy. It's
The
like
next
entertainment
day
to
you
you.
definitely care when you get 2 likes.
Oh yeah, for sure. See, when I post TikTok, I'm like, oh, I don't care if this gets two views. I don't care what it does. I'm so happy that I made that because it was so much fun, and I'm never gonna regret making that because it was so good, and I'm so proud of it. It's something that I'm genuinely proud of.
And then the next day you're like, this was supposed to go viral.
The next day, I'm like, oh man, what did I waste that time on? But honestly, when I realize, when I look back in hindsight, I am so happy that I started doing those series because I have so much freaking fun.
It shows, dude. Like it
I have
really
so
does
much
show
fun
that.
making those beats, making those lyrics, recording it. All of it is so much fun to me, dude.
And then it goes back to the same thing we're talking about acting, When you're doing something and you're pretending, but when you're really passionate and you really enjoy what you, man, it just shows. And then I love those videos. I hope you keep them coming no matter what.
Thank you, man.
Jay@theflawedones.com. I have a surprise for you, dog. I'm gonna invite you to come in to a very intimate process.
I don't like where this is going.
I think you're gonna love it.
All right, let's hear it.
It's a very intimate process, something that people are very. It really turns them on, and they hate. It's one of those things that you do and you have to do on your own.
I really don't. I don't like where
because it just people can actually ruin it for you.
this is actually.
It's a very personal thing, and I love you enough that I want you to actually do it for me. And I think you're gonna love it. What?
Oh man. I don't know. Oh snap! Woo! He got his freaking iPhone 11, bro. All right.
Bro, okay.
All right. Listen.
You're not touching my new phone with Cheeto fingers, dog. So you better
All right.
get yourself a napkin or something.
Let me go get a napkin real quick.
All right.
Keep them entertained, Jay. Called you by your name. I thought you would enjoy that.
Always do.
Let me go get a napkin real quick.
If you guys haven't checked out the Wise Distortion podcast, it's kind of like this, but a little more serious. It's just me. We're talking about more serious matters and, how to really look at life a little bit differently.
Basically this without the fun, honestly.
What's that?
Nothing.
It is. It really is.
Not saying that I bring the fun. I just say that I think I summon it a little bit.
A little bit. Let me see your finger.
I think I'm a fairly.
All right, good
I'm a
enough.
fairly relative person. I use soap and water, so I think we're good. This is very nice.
I haven't even opened this thing yet, by the way.
Okay, before I do this, I wanna say something that's a little bit embarrassing because I feel like now is a perfect time to say it. I used to watch a girl on YouTube do what I'm about to do, and she did it so nicely that I would watch it every single night and I'd fall asleep to it.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said fall asleep.
Yeah, no. I would fall asleep to it. All right. It was the first ever. I'm not capping at all, dude. It was the first ever ASMR video that I ever watched. I think I was 11. But it wasn't that kind of ASMR. It was this kind of ASMR. It was phone unboxing. It was in a case just like this. And she had really long nails. and I'm gonna pull a Joe Biden. You ready? Will you shut up, man? Will you shut up, man? I'm gonna try to do my impression of Joe Biden. Anyways, my point is that I'm kind of living my fantasies a little bit right here. So yeah, she had really long nails. She tapped on the thing, and it gave me some weird sensation in my head, and I would fall asleep to it. But that was when I was younger. ASMR is for nerds. All right?
Yeah.
Just don't look at my search history.
I thought you told me you did that like a week ago.
What did I do a week ago? Watched ASMR.
I still watch it. I showed the video to my girlfriend. I was like, yeah, this thing, like, it gives you tingles. And you should have seen her face. She started watching this and she goes,
Not everybody gets it.
what?
Okay,
What is this?
like, dude, some people get relaxed. Like, people like me and you. I think it has something to do with, like, the way our brains are wired. Some people get relaxed by this, right? The tapping and the whispering.
well, I think you have to get
and
over that first, impression
cringe of
yeah, this
like,
are people like
once
tapping on things. Like
once
what?
you stop realizing how weird the content is, you start to get a little bit more immersed into it.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is some people are really into like listening to like ambient sounds and like rain sounds and thunderstorms to go to sleep. I cannot stand it. I can't stand it. It freaks me out. And I realize that that's how people feel about ASMR. And I never understood how people can be like, this freaks me out. This is gross. I don't like it. Because that's how I feel about the rain sounds and the...
Well, you went through a stage when you were incredibly scared of thunder.
So maybe
like
it
as
ties
soon
back
as
to
it
that.
started raining, do you remember this? As soon as it started raining, you start crying.
Yeah. I'll cover my ears.
It was bad. Like it was really bad.
Turn off all the lights.
Yeah.
But even it doesn't even have to be rain sounds. It can be like those hums with like violent and it's like ambient noises to relax to. Cannot stand it.
I know but you love binaural beats.
Oh my god, it's the same thing, man. They just call it something different and tell you it's at 432 hertz and
It's
tell
a
you it's good for
different
your
frequency
chakras.
that opens your pineal gland.
It's not a different
bro.
frequency, dog. It's a lower note. It's a slower vibration. That doesn't do anything to your brain. It just sounds different, idiots.
Well, that's what people would say about tapping on a screen.
Yeah, if I lower the sounds of somebody tapping on a screen by a couple hertz, it's not going to make your chakras
But
open.
listen, dude, it's like if somebody has never gotten tingles from somebody going like this. I'm really bad at this, by the way.
As soon as I started watching that, the first time I watched it, immediately chills down my spine.
But imagine the person that doesn't feel it. They're like, "What the hell is wrong with you?
No, I
that
feel
doesn't
it.
do anything."
I got you. I understand what you mean. But let me tell you, as soon as I clicked on a video and I heard somebody whispering really softly and tapping on this phone screen, immediately absolute chills down my spine. That's where my addiction started, honestly. All right, I'm gonna open this for you because I'm
For
really
crack.
excited. To melatonin actually. It's probably really bad. Oh man. Oh snap. That was kind of surreal. I'm not gonna lie. That was kind of surreal. I mean, I can tell you've probably opened this before.
I haven't. That's
really,
the first. I just got it off of the shipping box.
dude. The color of this is like probably my favorite color.
Yeah.
Second to like purple.
I didn't have it on stock at the store. That's why I had to order it.
Oh man, I think my favorite color is purple, but I think my favorite like non-color, like black or white, is this charcoal. I freaking love this color, dude. I'm gonna take it out like this. Look at that.
Boom.
That is a beautiful
There
phone.
it is.
That's an absolutely beautiful phone. It says designed by Apple in California. That's very cool. We're not done with the unboxing process yet. Put that in there for now. We got some more wires down here. This is an experience. Look at that.
Do you know that it is actually an experience that Apple designs the box?
To make you feel better.
Yeah,
huh?
in a way that opening it feels exciting. That it's not too short of a process, but not too long of a process either. So even the unboxing of an iPhone, it's designed. It's not random. Like they designed it
Why is
in a
this
way that
charger
gives you
thing
this
so
feeling.
big?
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that in my
I mean,
life.
hey, maybe it charges better. You got your AirPods. Oh, these aren't AirPods. These are new.
Oh man.
That kind of sucks. You got your charger in there. Yeah, they do it. They do it the same thing with Beats by Dre. I heard. So, it's still not done yet. I have to. Oh, are you ready? I don't know if I'm ready for this, guys.
All right, hold on because OCD got the best of me just now when you just threw these things in here. Look.
That's how it was in there. What are you talking about?
All right.
All right, here we go. Are you watching this magic happen? Look at that. Oh,
Wow.
that's nice. Oh, it's just stuck to me. That's nice.
Can we do that again?
Alright,
You know
turn it
what
off.
they should do, dude? They should have two of those things. Two where you're like, oh, and then
Oh.
you're like,
I want to do it again.
round two.
Yeah. All right, so shall we turn it on?
See if it turns on. I mean, like I said, I haven't even.
Oh, just turned on. I feel like I shouldn't be doing this for you. You want to take your phone up?
I told you, dog. I told you I was giving you a privilege. Not many people do.
This is very nice. This is very nice of you to do. This is an experience for me.
So
I didn't
our
get to-
live stream tomorrow, and I'm gonna do a little clip of it. I'm using my iPhone 8
Yeah.
to record this podcast, and then we're gonna do a side-by-side comparison of the camera quality against this iPhone with this one. So look for that on social media, on TikTok. If you guys follow us, if you don't, please do subscribe to our channel as
This
well.
is really freaking cool, dude. I never got to do this. I never got to do this with my phone.
Because they do it at the store,
Yeah,
right?
I'm like, stop doing my phone for
I
me.
hate that, bro.
It's supposed to be an experience, and I did not get to experiencing it. I hate it. I didn't buy my phone. I traded it in, and they freaking did all this stuff in the store, and they did it so carelessly. I'm like, stop.
They did that for Lizzie's phone too, and I was like, I wanted to complain. I wanted to be like,
They get
you
their
just
Mm,
you just took away half the value of this phone.
exactly. God, I feel like I'm doing that to you right now, man. I feel very bad. This is really cool, man. This is a huge upgrade. Also, this thing, and they have this on the iPhone 10 as well, which is one I have. This little like thing right here where the camera is, you really grow to like it, dude. At first, you're kind of like, oh, it's kind of in the way of my videos, but honestly, you really start.
I
growing
gotta
to like
learn
that.
how to live with that bottom button. I don't even know how I can turn this thing on anymore.
Oh, you got the clear case and everything. Yeah, you really, you got the good ones here. I need you to do me a favor if you're gonna have this clear case though, and I think you'd be doing a favor not just to me,
Just to get
but
dusty and
to
stuff
society.
inside.
Turns orange.
No, that's one of the things that the thing said, that it won't turn orange. Like I paid an extra $3.99 or something,
I think you got.
so it won't
skin
turn
orange, bro.
orange. At least that's what the Chinese Alibaba guy said.
This phone, if it's like the one that I have, which is this is actually upgraded, so I'm assuming it is water resistant. So if you spill a drink on it, which I actually did to my friend once, it won't mess the phone up. But
Nice.
sometimes it gets on your speakers. Oh, the bass on these speakers, dude, you're gonna be hearing
me
a whole
see.
new world. Go ahead. I don't want to. I don't know how to set it up completely.
No, I mean I gotta take the SD card off of mine, so I gotta wait. How do you turn this off now?
You can't put an SD card in that, dude.
What do you mean?
You can't put an SD card in that.
So how does it know my stuff?
You have to transfer it with apps.
Really? Like what apps?
There's an app that you can download where it's like phone. It's called Phone Transfer or something. You transfer all your files. To.
Oh.
You can't put an SD card in that. I learned that the hard way.
Well, that's how much I know about new technology, I guess.
That has like 64 gigs of RAM, or not RAM, memory. So I think it's
Yeah, I was gonna buy the 256 gig one, and then when I saw the price, I was like,
nah.
I gotta pay for my son's insurance and braces. I can't afford that crap.
Yeah, man. I
But
really.
yeah,
thought you
I'm
came to the
excited more than
conclusion
anything
you're gonna
about
pay
the
for my braces.
screen and about the camera, because I've been struggling, especially with the podcast and finding a quality camera, and I hear these things have like professional grade camera. So I'm gonna turn it off for now.
No, holding down the power button won't turn it off. This guy, this Joker. The only Joker here is you. You're the sequel, all right?
So how do I do it?
Volume up button and power button at the same time. Hold it down for a couple seconds until you get a little screen that should say power off. Yeah, and then slide it.
What's emergency SOS?
Don't know. I've never done it. I wouldn't do it.
You
though.
want to try it?
No, I'd probably dial 911.
How? It doesn't have any of my information.
If you say the number 17 to Siri, she'll call 911.
Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, don't do that. I had some kid come up to me in last year. I almost said in high school. I'm still in high school. Ding dong. Last year, and he said, "Hey, open your Siri really quick." And then he said 17, and then he ran away, and I called the police. So
They love it.
yeah, I don't know.
So in my job, whenever we're dialing out of our office, if you want to call out like public to where it shows the number of the office and the caller ID of wherever you're calling, you dial 81. So you will dial 81, and then if you're dialing international, or long distance, you got to do like one area code, whatever. So you will do 811.
Yeah.
But a lot of people in my company are salespeople, so they don't want the other person to know who is calling them, to get a chance of getting them to answer the phone. And for that, you got to dial 91.
Really?
Yeah. So
I know that.
the cops show up at our job at least once a month.
Really?
Like, can you guys change this? Like, you've called us 8 times this month.
I know that that when you want to prank call somebody, which I used to do this all the time back in middle school, you put *67 so that you have no caller ID, and you can prank call anybody and they won't know your phone number. It's really really amazing.
That's how young you are, dog. Like back in the day before we even had phones, when caller ID was like brand new technology, *67 was like the thing, right? You were like, yo, just dial *67. Nobody knows how you do it. And if you dial *69,
You call Takashi 69.
no.
Dang it.
Somebody calls you, right? I don't know. I know you don't know this because you're too young, and But let's say somebody called you and you
100%
didn't
do
you didn't have caller ID. You were just on your house phone,
Yeah.
and you missed the call. If you dial *69, a recording will tell you what was the phone number that called you.
Really?
If it wasn't private. If you dial *67, then it would tell you, we're sorry, the number dialed, it was private. Go screw yourself. So yeah. One last thing, dog. And by the way.
What's your longest podcast? How long is your longest podcast?
An hour and 15.
All right, we're doing it right now. Hour 15. Here we go.
We're already in an hour, 2 minutes, so we're definitely. Yo, what's wrong with people, dude?
Did you get what I was referencing a couple minutes ago? All right. What's wrong with people?
Like, people think this is what happened to me yesterday, right? So on my Facebook account, people, request me as a friend. Sometimes I request people as friends. I have like 8 different pages. I have a page for my first book, The Flawed Ones. Please buy it if you want to learn more about my story of mental illness, addiction, and love. It's on Amazon. I also have a page for my next book, and I can't say what it's called because I had to change the name because Facebook deactivated my account permanently for the name of the book.
It's called.
Don't say it.
I was trying to make a joke, man. It didn't work. I was gonna say something for dummies, and I was gonna make that something be something really funny. The punchline did not come to me. Didn't come to me.
So I have 2 pages there. I have the podcast page. I manage my page for my job. And I have a couple of other pages that I don't use anymore. So I have at least 4 pages that I manage through my account right now. So whenever somebody adds me as a friend, or I add them as a friend, I send them an invite to like at least one of my pages. Right now, I'm trying to promote the podcast to go from 10 viewers to maybe 12. So I sent invites, like, hey, please like my page. So I wake up yesterday at 2 o'clock in the morning because you were dying and Trump just got sick. So I don't want to say excited. I was more like, wow, I can't believe this soap opera is getting any better. Like, as a writer, I could never write this book. This is like a Pulitzer Prize winning story.
Here's what's funny, though. And I was just thinking about this in the car now that you say that. It's really not, though. Like, if you were reading a book and it had this big character who's like the bad guy, or I don't want to say the bad guy because I'm seeming like I hate our president. That's not true. What I'm saying is, like, if you have this big, powerful entity,
he's the bad guy to some people, and he's the messiah to other people.
But like, if you look at it from like from the perspective if you were reading a
He's
book.
definitely the
And
star
he
of
was
the
like
show.
he was like the big president figure, and like this major pandemic virus started spreading everywhere. Everybody be like, and then the president, the big entity, got it. Everybody be like, oh, I saw that coming from a mile away. But because we're living it and it seems so surreal, like we would have never expected. Because that's the kind of stuff that happens in crappy books, not in crappy years.
Well, especially when he was downplaying the whole thing. Like, what are you talking about? This crap is not even probably
I would
real.
love to have so many conspiracy theories on why Trump has coronavirus, but I do not want to be canceled in the morning. So definitely.
So anyway, I wake up at 12 o'clock in the morning and I'm going through all the stuff, checking out the news on my phone, and I get this message from this lady replying to my invitation to like my page.
Oh.
And she goes, "Ah, so that's what you wanted my, what was it what she said? Oh, ah, so that's what you wanted our superficial friendship for."
What?
I'm like, lady, it's Facebook. All friendships are at best superficial. Like, you thought we were gonna fall in love or something? Like, were we supposed to become best friends because I or you, I don't even know, sent you a friend request on Face? Is that how people think nowadays? Like, how dare you send me an invite when we just became friends? And I thought you were really honest about it. I thought you really wanted to be my friend, person I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how to react to that. Honestly, I don't. That's.
And I feel like that's a big problem in our society, that now people, especially in quarantine,
Canceled. Canceled. Jay Trino's canceled. He said quarantine. Canceled. Oh, Space is canceled. His son can't even go 2 seconds without saying something political.
especially people being stuck in their houses for such a long time. I mean, it's already
For
happening
some reason,
before
I don't
for
know.
some weird reason. I think that their human social connections are now largely based on social media. And they're beginning to feel.
They're beginning
Like-
to feel. Period.
Yeah, true. But yeah, they're beginning to think that that's just the way connections are made. And if that's the way connections are made, dude, talk about depression and anxiety. Because the interactions online are best rude.
Dude, I'm telling you. I'm so telling you. Give it 10 years. And this is how life is going to be. Nobody's going to leave their house. Nobody. For no reason. You don't have to. You don't have to. Who needs to leave their house in order to live and to make money? Nobody. Nobody. The economy will not crash. People will have jobs. People will have food. People can make babies.
And all friendships will become
Virtual.
superficial.
Ready Player One. I'm telling you, man. One of my, not one of them. My favorite book I've ever seen, and it's in my top 5 movies I've ever seen as well. And it's coming. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I
Nobody's
believe
gonna
it.
leave their house, and there's gonna be a virtual world, a new virtual world, where everybody's gonna stay.
And see, that's what my plan was
Quote that.
to write in my next book about a society where people don't get to leave their houses. And I kind of try to compare it a little bit to what's going on now. And Facebook deactivated my ads account permanently. Because apparently I was
Canceled.
spreading lies on a fiction dystopian book, a novel about what's going on in 2020,
Canceled.
simply because I used one word.
Jay Trino is using one word and telling lies.
Speaking of books, man, I wanted to show you this real quick.
I did not just adjust my junk, by the way. Never mind. I don't know how to explain myself.
So I was watching Rogan at the beginning of the week, and he interviewed the guy that wrote this book. It's called The Immortality Key: The Secret History of the Religion with No Name. I highly recommend. I haven't read it yet, but I saw his interview, and this guy Brian Murarescu has a degree in Latin, Greek, and Sanskrit, which are the way they wrote and talked the languages from like ancient times. Um, and he started doing research on these rituals that used to happen in Athens back before and right up to Christianity, um, where like they had all these potions that would literally, it was like they were drugs and they would make you trip your balls off.
Mhm.
And that's how they met their ancestors and their gods, and like
Really?
it was part of their religion, right? Like this
What were
is
they
the
taking?
way they interacted with their spiritual side, right? And then after Christianity came, um, they kind of abolished all that, and he puts it to like this was a really big mistake, because if you talk about Greece at those times, this is where everything came from: democracy, math, philosophy, all these things that are so important to us now, they started in those times. And these people were going on psychedelic trips to find advice on how to live their lives spiritually and emotionally. And then we got away from that, and so anyway, the book is actually about those times and about finding out what they were using, to go on this psychedelic experiences, how they were doing it, all that stuff. It was really interesting. But the reason that I was wanted to share it with you was because they now have proof, and a lot of data that talks about how back in those days, um, like they would spike, like the way they took their medicine, they would drink their wine and they would spike the wines with herbs and different combinations of things inside the wine. And they would, so if you had a head, they found the writings by this guy that was supposed to be like the drug guy back then.
Yeah.
And he had all this like recipes on what to spike your wine with, to like if you have a headache, wine and like
Like
some
ancient,
kind of mushroom and
ancient
this,
like
this,
remedies.
like that.
Right?
Right. But that's what they did, and they spiked their beer as well. And it's something that goes back to ancient Egypt, where they would spike beer with stuff that would, and they had this knowledge of all these herbs and these things that would, cure the ailments in a way that we don't even know today. That's what the book's about. They want to know what it was. So anyway, two things. So they actually find out, what do you call, um, like, have you ever like seen a movie, or have you ever gone to a Catholic mass where the priest walks by the aisle and they have this thing and it has incense on it? What the heck is that called?
I don't know what it's called, but I have been to a Catholic mass for my grandmother's great grandmother's funeral.
Funeral, yeah.
And I don't want to discriminate anybody's religion. It was weird for me. It was super weird. It was strange.
Did they do that?
Yeah.
And they have the incense, and it's like smoking. Well, so they found one of those things. If you want to write in the comments what it is, my computer died and I don't know what it is.
The two people who watch this down
yeah,
below.
please,
If you happen to
Mom,
know.
Liz, please.
They're not gonna know.
And so they chemically tested it to find out what they were using.
Right.
And it had traces, like heavy traces of CBD, THC,
Weed.
and a couple other things. So this is what religion is based on. Like when these people were doing mass, they were literally getting their crowd high so they would feel this spiritual enlightenment, this consciousness high that they would relate to spirituality. This is what I'm saying, folks. The beginning of religion, whether you want to believe it or not, there's proof now. But I'm sure you always find an excuse for why you may think it's a lie, even though this guy's a linguist and has gone through.
Canceled.
It took him 12 years to write this book.
12 years
12 years. That's how much his wife almost divorced him.
for writing that book.
Yeah. Dude, I have to show you that, but it's really interesting, man. Really interesting.
It took me 12 years.
So
to
I
finish
can't
that.
wait. I can't wait to read it. And I'll let you guys know that. But the beginning of all ancient religions start with drug use. They were talking about like how in the Bible, like the prophecies of Daniel and Isaiah and even Revelation, like these people were seeing like half man, half horses, and dragons, and a man with like a cow head and horns and six different heads. And they're like, that's what you see on a psychedelic trip. Like they were tripping, dog. They were seeking their spiritual enlightenment by tripping. And that's why they were seeing things that you see on a DMT trip nowadays.
And bro, you know what I realized? Piggybacking off of that, I'm taking world history in school right now, and we're learning about ancient China and ancient philosophy, and we're learning right now it's Buddhism, but we're learning a lot
Buddhism
about
is dope.
Buddhism is dope. If you're a Buddhist, congrats. But we're learning a lot about where that stuff started, where it came from, and it made me realize Christianity being, I want to say at least in America, probably the most popular religion.
Oh, for sure.
Almost everybody's
Yeah,
Christian.
yeah.
So what I'm gonna say is that Christianity is so like it's so similar. It's like there's nothing unique about it. The origin is just like every other religion. It's just like I don't even know how to explain
Bro,
it. Like
once you study
there's
religion,
nothing unique about it.
yeah, once you study religion, you realize that the common denominator in religion, in all religions, is the same, which is be nice to people. Get along,
Have good morals.
have good morals, don't stab people, don't steal.
Why does Santa Claus? Why does the tale or the story of Santa Claus even exist? It's so that around Christmas time, your kids behave because they think they're going to be rewarded for it.
Yeah.
So why does religion exist? To scare people into thinking that they're going to get rewarded for doing the right thing and having good morals. Am I wrong?
I think you're partially right. I think it's a way to keep people in line and
I think that's
and
exactly what it
nice.
is.
But if like for example, I consider myself a Christian, not because I necessarily believe that Jesus Christ was God's son, but because the teachings of Jesus Christ, the morals that he taught, are a blueprint for how to live a good life, how to live a moral life. You don't have to believe that he came from heaven or that some angel told some lady that, oh, you're a virgin, but you're going to have a baby. But his teachings,
His morals were great.
morals were good. The way the morals teach are good.
Jesus Christ's morals were on point.
Yeah.
But so was Buddha's.
Exactly.
Every religious, like, leader, I guess you can say, what do you even call them? They all, like you said, they all have great morals. But okay, here's what I was thinking about the other day, and I think you're going to really agree with me on this. If Jesus Christ saw, because, I mean, whether you're Christian or atheist, Jesus Christ was a real man. He
Absolutely.
existed.
Yeah.
He was walking on earth. And he had, like you said, great morals, and he wanted people to just love each other and be nice to each other. If he was alive today, if he was resurrected and he saw what he unknowingly has created, which is hate, nothing but hate and arguing, he would be disappointed. He would be so disappointed that people are taking his words and fighting with other people just because of what he used to say. He would be so disappointed. Jesus Christ would be disappointed in people who argue with people who do not have the same beliefs as them, because that's not the way he was. He wanted to spread positivity and love, and what he accidentally did was create more hate around the world.
Well, I think that people use his popularity to bring more people in line, especially in Rome. When they created the Catholic Church, Christianity was spreading everywhere, and they were like, oh, we got to use this, because this is what people believe now, so we got to use this to control people. And then they changed it. They couldn't even, normal people couldn't even read the Bible, though. Like, if you got caught with the Bible, you would get burnt at a stake, because they didn't want you to see what the Bible really said. So I agree with you completely. So anyway, one of the things that I wanted to show you this for was because it made me think that sometimes, going back to what we're talking about, people take the Bible way too literally, especially when things get lost in translation, right? So, for example, the religion that I grew up in, people were like, "Oh, it's okay to drink alcohol." right? It's okay to drink a little bit of alcohol every now and then, which is right?
Don't get blackout drunk every Saturday.
Correct. But they always point to Paul's letter to Timothy, where apparently Timothy had some stomach problems, and Paul tells him, drink a little bit of wine because it's good for your stomach.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, wine's good for that. But what I'm saying is that now this information came out, you realize that the reason that Paul was telling you drink a little bit of wine was because the wine was spiked with actual herbs and different things as medicine that would make him feel better for the stomach.
Really? It was like a remedy.
Absolutely. That's what they used wine for. So see, we're using something that wasn't really literal. Maybe. This is just conjecture, right? But it looks like what they did with wine was spike it with herbs and different things that would make remedy.
And 6,000 years later, and a bunch of hundreds of translations now have us believing that he turned water into wine.
Correct. Or that they were drinking wine alone and that we're using that as an excuse to say, oh, it's okay to drink wine, which is okay, but what I'm saying is it's not that it might not be the most accurate representation of what this person meant a couple of thousand years ago when it says drink a little bit of wine for your stomach. And then we're using it as what else are we using as an excuse? Like, oh, the Bible says this, it would really happen, this is what it meant.
Like you said, it's a book that was written 6,000 plus years ago, and it's
hold on. The Old Testament was written probably about, I believe, 3,500, and Jesus was on earth 2,000 plus years ago. So the earth began 6,000 years ago,
according to the Bible.
Correct.
Okay, so I was wrong with my time, right? But my point is that it was written thousands of years ago.
Correct.
And it's been translated. It was written in Hebrew. It's been translated
and
a bunch of times.
Aramaic, and yeah.
So, I'm not saying, dude, because a lot of people, like, will think that what I'm saying is that Jesus, the Bible, everybody who wrote the Bible was a liar, and they're all lying.
You
I don't
are
think they're lying.
a true apostate, dog.
What?
And you deserve the second death, which means the death that you don't come back from.
What are you talking about, Doug?
When you sin like that and you talk about the Bible not being literal, you get the second death. See, there's a death that you come back from if you were a sinner and you didn't know about God. Mm-hmm. It could have been Hitler. Oh. I mean, people, some of the people that I know are not really sure whether Hitler's going to come back or not because God shall give him a chance to repent from their sins if they weren't really involved in worshiping him.
Right.
However, if you were involved in worshiping him and you were like, this doesn't really make sense the way they're teaching it to me, I think it's more like this because Paul was actually saying so and so and so.
Right. You
become an apostate. And apostates get no repentance.
They don't get the second rebirth?
They don't.
So since I was just saying that, since you have always been, you've always grown up until pretty recently, like truly convincing yourself that this was all true, then does it make you uncomfortable when I talk about it or something?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure because I know that kind of messes with your head even if you don't consciously believe it anymore.
No, one of the and it's a process. When you first realize that things that you believe may not all be true, it freaks you out. You're like, what else is not true? Am I convincing myself? And then you're thinking this could kill me forever. It's thought crime.
Right.
See what I'm saying? It's thought crime. You're like, if I'm thinking this way, means I'm an apostate. I'm gonna die. There's no hope for me. So, coming to that conclusion is the scariest thing ever for a person that has those kind of beliefs. Because you're like, I am literally risking my life for this, and what if I'm wrong? And it's always in your head.
And do you still ever have those doubts? Like, what if I'm wrong?
Absolutely not.
No?
I know I'm wrong about a lot of things, but I know that if God truly exists and he gave you the ability to think logically, he won't punish you for thinking logically. Even if you're wrong about something, he's like, oh, he's working it out. You know what I'm saying? He sees this way now because his logical mind is processing information and making decisions based on that information. Why would a person deserve to die because of that? Why would God make you or give you the ability to reason? Out of millions and millions of species in this planet alone, you're the only animal that has the ability to reason and logically come to conclusions on what you learn. Why would God punish you for using it? It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. But I guess my question is like, like I try to be an open-minded person because I feel like whether you're an atheist or a Christian, both are ends of the spectrum, and both those people that I just named, an extreme Christian who reads the Bible every Sunday, or an atheist who doesn't even think about Christianity, they're both in the wrong, I would say, in my opinion, because they're closed-minded.
Yeah, for sure.
I try. I'm not always successful. I try to be as open-minded as possible. If somebody came preaching, if a Jehovah's Witness came to my door and started preaching to me about the religion, and I was like, for once, I was like, dude, that actually makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I would be open-minded enough to understand that what they're saying makes sense. And honestly, their morals, like you said, a lot of them do make sense. But most things about the entire Christianity, the God and Satan, and if you're good, you go to heaven, and then, the resurrection, all that stuff, a lot of that doesn't make sense to me. So that's the reason why I don't think that in that case that's true. What does make sense to me, though, is that the universe is infinite and everything exists somewhere. So I believe what makes sense to me, and I try to be as open-minded as possible. If I hear something that makes sense but it contradicts everything I've ever believed, well, I'll look more into it, because I'm not going to be that closed-minded atheist that doesn't want to hear your opinion. You know what I mean?
You have to. It's like what I said in my last podcast, the Wise Distortion podcast that I made. You have to be open to the possibility. It's even more fun like that to realize I don't know anything. And since I don't know anything could be possible. And just thinking about the possibilities, it's, I love Game of Thrones. And in season 1, Tyrion Lannister, which my shirt is a quote from Tyrion Lannister. It's kind of a joke on me, as well, since I don't drink anymore. It says, that's what I do. I drink and I know things. And that's one of his quotes. But there's a part, I think in episode 3 of season 1, he said something that's always stuck with me, dog. He's like, death is so final. Life is so full of possibilities. And that's what it's like with your beliefs. If you believe something, it's this, and this, and this. That's the final. That's the finality of that conclusion, But if you're open to the possibilities, when you learn something new, you're comfortable with saying, hey, I was wrong about this. I was wrong about this. So now I got to look at things in a way. And that's how you grow as a person. But if you have to defend your beliefs, whatever it may be, political, religious, moral, if you have to convince yourself and defend those beliefs even when they don't make sense anymore,
it's doublethink, basically.
Yeah, it's doublethink, and it tortures you because you gotta convince yourself that it's right no matter what, even though there's something inside you going, hey, not true. So I strongly advise you and beg you not to believe one thing or the other. Like we said, we're morons. We don't really know. We have beliefs, right? We have impressions of what could be real or not, and we talk about the possibilities.
And you know what scares me the most is that there's somebody who believes something completely the opposite of what I believe, and they think that they have the exact same, they think that they have the
Well,
logic.
5 years ago, that was me.
Right, but the thing is that people are they are just as convinced that they're right as I am convinced that I'm right. And that scares me, because that's like, how convinced am I really? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
What if they are? I'm just saying, like, when.
And that's why you have to be flexible, dog. You're like, yo, a year ago I was convinced that the universe was infinite. Now we know it's all a simulation.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. There may come a point really soon where we have always thought we're the only life on the universe. and some ships are gonna land, and little dudes are gonna come out of it, and you're either gonna believe, oh, it's fake, the government's doing that, or you're gonna have to believe maybe we're not the only life in the universe. And if that changes your beliefs at all, and it makes you uncomfortable, then you might want to think about being a little more open-minded, because I think it's gonna happen.
Let me ask you something about that. Say that aliens come from the sky or from under the water, and they, come and they look just like that little green guy over there, and they, hello, we come
It's
in
Bob.
peace. Bob. They look just like
By
Bob.
the way, remind me to tell you about Skinny Bob.
Skinny Bob. Okay. Remind me to remind you. So say that all that happens, and the government comes out and finally says, yes, this is all true. We've been hiding this in Area 51, whatever. How do you think personally that the Jehovah Witness religion would react to that?
I think
And I'm talking specifically Jehovah Witness because you and I are pretty experienced with that religion. So I want to know like what you think that they would believe if that what would they make it out as?
I asked somebody that question one time, like what would happen, and their answer was like, no matter what happens, we will always keep believing the same thing.
So like what would they say about that though? Would they say the government is lying? Would they say that it's fake?
They would say, don't even stress about it,
They wouldn't even think about it because it's too.
right? Don't stress about it. We don't. It's the end of times. We don't know what. It could be the devil trying to trick you. That's probably what they'll say. And I think most religions will say that, because they believe we're basically the center of the universe. So if something else comes along and they're like, basically, we made you guys. You were a monkey back in the day. We put some of our DNA in there as an experiment, and we
Okay.
and we made you guys. They'll be like, nah,
Let me
it's
ask
the
you this.
devil.
Let me ask you this then. So say you have like a diehard, just like straight up Jehovah Witness who's like their entire life, like yes, Jehovah Witness life, and they will never stop believing what they believe, no matter what happens. Let's just say in theory.
Oh, well.
Well, I don't think so. Say that the simulation that we're in, supposedly, ends, and they wake up and they're in like the Matrix 2s with the big things in the back of their head. And you still have this Jehovah Witness who's diehard. I will always believe what I believe, no matter what. What do you think that they would believe in that situation?
I think that they will have a severe identity crisis, and they will probably either become mentally ill or have to accept the reality.
But let's say, let's bring the accepted reality out of the equation. Say you have this guy who just is not ever going to accept it. He will always believe the words of Jehovah no matter what happens. They wake up from the simulation. Now they, like what are they supposed to believe? What do you think that would make that out as?
Oh man, it's
Satan playing tricks on their brain.
yeah, probably. It's the end of times, and we're seeing signs that
That's more
we're
of a
trying to get tricked.
See, that's more of a theoretical question because I think in that situation, I think all religions would be kind of eliminated, almost.
Dude, I honestly think that at one point, not only the religion that I grew up in, but a lot of religions are gonna, and I'm telling you right now that even after, let's say, for example, Jehovah's Witnesses, even if, the Watchtower and Tract Society were like, yo, we're out. Like, this is, which I have a suspicion that it will happen at some point. I don't know when, but I think that with the internet and people educating themselves, they're having a really tough time with, proving to people that they're right, because people can educate themselves more now through the internet. So I think that in due time, there's going to be enough people that are going to believe. They're already struggling with a lot of things. I don't want to go into deep religions because I can lose my family over it. If you're a Jehovah's Witness, you know what I'm talking about.
You don't write like Spanish closed captions on this, do you?
No, we're good.
All right. Love you, Abuela. Love you, Abuela. Talking good things about Jehovah right now. All right.
I think that even if that happens, there will still be small groups of people that will carry on
I think so.
and keep. Oh, I'm sure of it.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think even this pandemic, I don't think we've seen it, but I think this pandemic has probably crushed a lot of people's beliefs.
For sure, bro. I mean, they haven't been to a church or Kingdom Hall in months.
People have been stuck in their houses for the last 7 months. I think that
They have more time to access the internet. They have more thoughts going through their heads.
You know, am I allowed to say the K word on here? This girl used to be married to.
I wouldn't.
Not really. Okay. Well, anyways, there is this time, and I mean, it's not just about her. You did this as well. When, like when you guys were married, and like we would go to the Kingdom Hall every Sunday and Tuesday or whatever, and you guys told me not to look anything up about Jehovah's Witnesses because I might see something that's arguing against it. And I remember that so vividly because it makes me realize that religion is that close-minded to the point where they're teaching their kids not to even
You
look
can't.
into
They
it.
can't. You can't even go to college because of it, bro. Because if you learn philosophy or biology and
See, that's the
That's-
close-minded to the
yeah,
max.
that's the only way that you can keep that kind of nonsensical belief alive, is if you don't give people the ability to reason and logically deduce what might be right or might be wrong by putting logical doubt in their minds. That's the only way.
You're
and
not
that's
even
why-
allowed to doubt it. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's why it's like, if you do that, you're an apostate and you will lose everything you have. If you even doubt it, double think, or thought crime, you're not only going to die, you're going to lose your family. Anything that I'm talking about right now can potentially make me lose my family if the wrong person listens to this.
What do you mean by lose your family? Like,
Okay, so
they'll
if
stop
somebody,
talking
if
to you,
yeah, if
they'll
somebody,
leave.
no, if somebody, let's say a Jehovah's Witness, that's an elder or whatever, listens to this and he's like, oh, that's apostate talk. Because I'm still a baptized Jehovah's Witness, right? I just don't practice anymore. And they tell somebody that knows me or that I used, the congregation I used to go, and they disfellowship me. My friends are not allowed to talk to me anymore, to have relations with me anymore. My family's not allowed to talk to anymore, have relationships with me anymore. I basically get disowned by everything. And this has led to a lot of suicides by a lot of people because your social group is your most important thing. Like this is where you belong. This are your parents, your family, your people. And all of a sudden it's like, you don't believe the same thing we do. You're out. We can't even talk to you anymore. I mean, there are parents that even tell their kids, you got to move out. Like, you're done. Unless you come back.
You can't have relationships with anybody.
No. You can't even talk to them. If let's say, like, a friend, my best friend, he's a Jehovah's Witness, and I get disfellowshipped, and we're at the grocery store pushing our carts, and he's coming my way, he will look the other way. He wouldn't even acknowledge that I'm there.
See, and this is where what I said comes into play. If Christ was on earth today, and he genuinely saw what his teachings created in people, how they have completely misunderstood what he's trying to say, and how
Yeah, and they excuses with the Bible, by the way. They'll show you Bible verses where, like, this is what you got to do. This is what the Bible is, what Jehovah wants.
And like, I feel like if Jesus Christ was a man and he saw that people were leaving, like, families were not talking to their children, their friends were not even acknowledging their existence because they did what? Messed up. They were a human being. That's not something Jesus Christ would approve of, honestly.
And it's funny that you think that way because you haven't been taught one way or the other, right? You're just looking at it from the logical point of view, like, oh, this doesn't make any sense.
I'm looking out of all my beliefs. I'm looking into what I believe is reality. It's like an out-of-body experience. I'm just seeing the world. I'm not believing anything. I'm just seeing it the way it is, man.
But when you're ingrained in it for, like, since your birth, it's a very sad situation. So if I can't,
that's why I asked. Like you've been that's been drilled into your brain since you were.
So if I can't talk to my parents anymore after this, bro, it's your fault. Just letting you know.
All right, man.
Anything else we need to wrap up before we get out of here?
I just want to say, that they should definitely make a joke or two They should definitely work
They
on
are.
it. New Batman movie is gonna slap.
I think so.
I think DC's finally gonna hit for a first
I
time
hope
in a while.
so.
And to end it all off, I just wanted to say that I appreciate the support, you, Mom, and Grandma.
All right, anytime, brother.
That's all I had to say.
If I'm able to publish this podcast today, which today is what, the 2nd of October.
Yeah, man.
Tomorrow we're gonna start a live stream of the Avengers movies. It should be really fun. We're just gonna hang out like this, watching a movie, talk crap about it. It should be a really fun time. Do join us on TikTok. I'm gonna put an ad out on social media when we're about to start. Anna wants to watch it too, so that should be fun. Thank you guys again for enjoying the Father and the Kid podcast. Make sure you check out the Wise Distortion podcast as well. Make sure you check out this kid's music right here because it's just good stuff. And again, Jay at the Flood. Send them some money. We need braces. We need car insurance, and I think we deserve it. Have a good night, guys.
Peace.